Smile. Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and we are going to talk about potentially the best foldable of the year, the OnePlus Open. Now the Open is OnePlus's first foldable. They've been making phones for a while now, and they've done a really good job with the build quality, how thin this phone is, and even the aspect ratio on that front screen acting more like a regular sized phone. Now in this video, we are going to focus on that camera system tuned by Hasselblad. Big thanks to OnePlus for sponsoring this video and sending over the Open for us to check out. OnePlus even sent me a unique code to get $100 off your Open, so I will post that down below me and even link to the OnePlus Open in the description of the video. Now I'd like to dive into the camera system and talk about all my favorite features, especially considering this is a folding phone. There's a lot of versatility to all 5 lenses that this phone has. Let's get started. The rear camera system has exactly what you want in a flagship phone. You've got the main sensor, you have your wide angle lens, and then a telephoto periscope lens for zooming in. Highlighting the main sensor, it's the first phone that I've used that uses Sony's Light T808 pixel stacked sensor. So instead of the sensors being arranged parallel, they're actually stacked vertically. Now this allows the sensors to get a little bit smaller and still increase performance, so it doesn't have to use quite a 1-inch sensor to get that 1-inch sensor performance out of it. Maybe how they got this phone so thin. And a couple pictures from the main sensor. First of all, look at the dynamic range on this one. Just the foreground of the tree plus the cloud detail. Really well balanced. It looks incredible. One of my favorite shots I took on this phone, plus a night shot at Cafe du Monde in New Orleans with the sky being really dark, plus the really bright light coming out of the cafe. It just turned out really good. My next favorite feature is that 64 megapixel periscope lens, which can zoom in up to 3 times optically, but even the 6 times shots look so crisp. They look like they're optical shots because they look so good. And yes, you can zoom in all the way up to 120x if maybe you want to get a picture of the moon or something really far away. And that telephoto lens is great for zooming in and taking pictures, but also great for portrait shots as well. And this is where partly of that Hasselblad collaboration comes in, because the bokeh effect is a little bit different depending on the specific lens you use, whether you're 1x, 3x, you'll notice the background takes on more of a Hasselblad lens type look to it. It's really cool, and the portrait shots turn out fantastic. And I really want to highlight these portrait mode shots because the one on the left, it obviously focused on the person on the left, and then it blurred just about everything on the right, but the person on the right is somewhat blurred out, and then when they turn, you'll notice the difference. It focuses more on the faces and blurs out the background. It did a really good job, and this was almost back to back. Not only that, taking video with that telephoto lens and zooming in further looks really good, even past that 3x type zoom. My next favorite feature isn't quite about the camera, it's the hinge of the phone because of the versatility that it brings to taking pictures and even video. First of all, the Open has a really strong hinge, which is super useful when you have it sitting flat and you need to angle maybe the rear camera. You could even have it balanced so that it is vertical as well. And since there's multiple screens and multiple cameras, there's many ways to use it. Now, the first one I want to talk about is flex mode. So when you do tilt it up, the camera application will actually recognize that it is tilted up and send the viewfinder to the top screen so that you can hold it up. Maybe you want to set up a shot on a table and go set a timer and take a picture with that rear lens. That's absolutely possible. Now, flex mode doesn't just work in the camera application, it works in other ones as well, such as Zoom. So I use it in my Zoom meetings all the time. And when I'm on a video call, that's when I'm going to use maybe that front-facing camera here or the internal camera as well. Because of flex mode, when you are on a Zoom call, it recognizes when you have it up in sort of that laptop mode where you can set it on a table and you can see the person up at the top screen and also look into that camera lens on the internal display. It's really useful when on video calls. Another great feature of this foldable is because it has such a large internal display, you can use it as a large viewfinder, but I like to press the button in the upper left-hand corner where you can see a preview of your specific shots. So on the right side, it will still show your picture, but once you start taking the pictures, it will preview them on the left side, which is a great way to see if you need to change the lighting or even the angle of the picture. It's super helpful, and you don't just have to take a bunch of different ones and hope one of them turns out great. And on to probably my favorite feature, and that's the dual preview. And I showed it at the beginning of the video where the outside screen will turn on and show what the specific, what our camera lens is looking at. Now, yes, this is useful when you're taking a picture of someone and they want to see what they look like in the viewfinder, but the best way to use it is when taking a selfie. I use this all the time. When you do activate it, this cover screen turns on and you can change the specific lenses. You can change your different modes. You want to take a portrait mode shot. You want to set a timer, maybe switch over to video. You can do so all while using that external display and the main camera lenses. This is just so useful to change between different lenses and get the best quality out of your selfies. The only thing I recommend is make sure everyone looks at the lens. I always call that out when I'm taking a selfie with someone. Look at the left side, look at the lens, whatever it is. It's always useful to say that, but the camera shots just turn out so good because you're using the main camera. And a quick feature that I love is holding your hand up, starting a quick timer, and snapping a photo with the rear lenses. Even if you want to use the internal screen with that internal camera, it doesn't matter. It still works just great. Like I said earlier, this camera is in collaboration with Hasselblad, and that's nothing new. This is their 4th generation working together, and honestly, this is my favorite OnePlus camera yet. Out of all of them so far, this has been my favorite. And aside from those bokeh effects I mentioned earlier, the color science matters, and I found it to be very natural, very well balanced, and it handles different colored lighting really well with the color temperature and just how it manages it depending on the type of situation. And like I said, when it comes to foldables, this is one of the best you can get. And even in North America specifically, the competition is just the heavy hitters. Even Samsung, OnePlus has done a really good job, and this camera system competes with the Galaxy Z Fold 5. You have to remember, Samsung uses their best camera system in the Ultra, and OnePlus has put their best camera system in their Fold, and it does compete really well. And even that front screen with that aspect ratio, I really do like to preview the image much more. You can just see a little bit more, considering it's a little wider as opposed to as tall as the Samsung's foldable. So that's it from me on all my favorite features of the cameras on the OnePlus Open. A lot to choose from, a lot of versatile ways to use this camera. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the OnePlus Open. Again, link down below if you're interested in it with that coupon code. And again, there's a reason that I've brought this with me on multiple trips. First of all, I love foldables. It opens just a new type of multitasking, a better way to consume multimedia on the larger screen, and it's great when you have a good camera system to go with it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe as well. And as always, thanks for watching.